afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Hope Survival YouTube. Thank you for tuning in for another video. I appreciate your time and support to our YouTube platform. It's a little business to get out of the way up front. If you have not subscribed, please do so to help us grow our channel. And if you like this information, please hit like to let me know that the information I'm bringing you is worthwhile to you. It is much appreciated. So in this video, I've typed out and scripted it so I can get all the information in that I want to bring to you. I've titled this video A Bigger Problem Than What We See and Believe. I hope by the end of the video you will understand where I'm coming from with this. And this is all inclusive of the problems that we are witnessing today, outside of our own problems within our country with the many issues that we face. So we need to think bigger and understand the hatred towards America, and hopefully you will understand that. So in 2000, when I returned from a tour of duty in Europe, where I worked as a security advisor to Special Operations and Special Operations Forces, traveling all over Eastern and Western Europe, Africa, and the Balkan states and more, I returned to my next assignment in the U.S. In Florida at Headquarters Air Force Special Operations Command at Fort Walton Beach, and I took that assignment to fill the position as the anti-terrorism superintendent. I had been working in the field of terrorism for numerous years, and I took this assignment to continue working primarily in focusing on domestic international terrorism. But my point is, I told those who would listen there was a wave of terror that would be new to most minds and people, and that many would see it but not understand it. It was witnessing abroad the increasing hatred towards the West, what we stood for, our government, our faith, our wealth, and so forth. It was a short year and a half after my return that we witnessed 9/11. So one must understand the ideology of the threat versus our way of life. It's two distinct areas, and most only see the surface and cast judgment, sometimes rightfully so. Something that is important today is we must understand the threat because it supports their ruthless methodology. Roughly 25 years ago, I read a document talking about a concern about the speed at which technology was advancing around the world. Computers and the internet changed the world in many ways globally. The concern was how rapid global powers would advance in logistics, shipping, development, and military strength, leaving third world poor nations behind. While the United States could click on a document, fill in the order, hit send, and boom, the order was placed or a resupply would occur. From this, we advanced to a just-in-time supply process. Third world nations still use stubby pencil and paper to order supplies to care for their people. Remember, with technology, there must also be education on the equipment, okay? And this means a learning curve globally. As the technology advanced, this also started including the ability through the internet and satellite systems to which the speed of information could move It aided the governments to connect to military abroad for expediting needs in warfare on the battlefield for resupplying troops, food, water, ammunition, and so forth. But a good example is when a disaster strikes in Pakistan or India, as an example, or other nations who live in third world conditions in some areas because technology has yet to advance. Disaster reliefs come in and they install working toilets with running water. This is great. No more buckets and chances of diseases from outdoor toilets. But when the toilet breaks, there is no skill set to fix the new flushing toilets. So what happens? They revert back to the old trench and bucket system. So basically, we are taking our way of life, and we're including up-to-date equipment such as electricity and running water, toilets, and so forth into their culture, but yet their culture is not ready yet from a skill set and education level to fix things or repair things or supply parts to fix these advancements. So now in 2023, much of the separation between the haves and the have-nots is getting worse. If the advanced nations are spending billions on preventing what is called global warming, imagine the conditions in the third world nations where having water daily is a major issue. Then consider much of the water is dirty with no methods to treat the water. Yes, millions of dollars in aid has flowed to these countries. However, the elite and warlords often take the money for their plush elite life and leave the poor to grow poorer. Dirty water, starvation, malnutrition, disease. Much of the world lives in poverty, uneducated and ruled upon by thugs who rule with an iron fist. Rule of law is comply or die. Survival in their world is different from survival in our world. We have available systems to help when needed in most cases. However, today, compared to the period of World War II and post-World War II, we are seeing more poverty, homelessness, malnutrition, and severity of crimes being committed is increasing. The bottom line is hundreds of millions around the world are being left behind and labeled as anchors to progress. No matter how we label them, want to see them, avoid the subject, the problem remains. So many nations and cities around the world ignore them or relocate them to a new world they don't know or understand. This happened in America years ago when the government relocated the Indians from tents to homes with walls and a door. They didn't know how to take care of the homes. Even as late as the late 1990s, in locations in Wyoming and Montana, you could drive through the reservations and see these hard-walled homes, unrepaired, farm animals running in and out of the front doors. So their culture had not caught up with the relocation from tents to hard-walled homes. How to repair them, how to take care of them, how to fix roads, right? Electricity, running water, and the works. Are you still wondering why parts of the world hates America? The land of opportunity for many has become the land who forgot us. We bring hundreds of thousands of non-citizens into America for a better life, but they aren't prepared and they keep their culture, which is fine, but they refuse to adapt to our way of life, laws, and our love for our nation's foundation. Their anger towards us remains. I want you to think about something and ask yourself a question. If America is the #1 ally of Israel, why are we bringing hundreds of thousands of Muslims to America since the early 1990s through today, when in most cases they are the arch enemy of Israel? Do you believe it is to give them a better way of life? Okay. Then why would we put thousands of Somali Muslims in Minnesota during the winter period? From the heat of a desert to the freezing snow packed northwest. Does that make sense to you? Today, the children who evacuated to America from Somalia are adults and getting elected to state and federal political seats. We now have areas ruled and controlled by Sharia law, not the laws of America. Why is our state and federal government allowing this to happen? These are the same adults who got educated in kindergarten to hate America in their homeland. They learned to chant and sing songs about killing the infidels of America and Israel. Do you think they simply forgot all these lessons because they now have air conditioning in Starbucks? I doubt it. Why is our government allowing so much land to be purchased by foreign governments? Why is our government allowing so much of our industry to be purchased by foreign entities? We make nothing to sell to the world. We are dependent on the world to provide to us. We are quickly growing to be like much of the third world nations who search for food and clean water daily. This may not be you today, but look around at the number of homeless camps going up from city to city. Homeless Americans, while our government relocates thousands of non-citizens to homes they don't understand, nor can they take care of. Remember, during the Arab Spring, many Europeans voluntarily brought Muslim refugees into their homes, and others simply moved out to give up their homes for them. Crazy. How did that work out for them? Remember all the reports of crime, rapes, and murder? Sound familiar? How long will it take for us to reach the same level of despair in America? While the war escalates in Israel and the U.S. military is on scene, the echo of thousands of Muslims around America is increasing and gaining steam, just like the rest of the world. Except the message right now is the total dissatisfaction with the current administration for their lack of support to the Muslim cause in Gaza. This will escalate, I do believe. If the confrontation in Israel is not paused or stopped, which I do not believe it will be, the voice of opposition around America is going to increase and likely escalate to violence. This could be the trigger for the underground terror cells to step out of the shadows in Europe and America. Where does this leave us? We have numerous potential threats from outside and inside the homeland. While we must live our life and not in fear, we must continue preparing as always. Our mental toughness, awareness, and ability to see things before they happen is important. The news and media often telegraphs events to come, so pay attention. Sadly, Americans are weak. Our everyone gets a trophy culture has severely weakened our abilities, especially on the male side. Parents and grandparents must stop bending over and trying to be friends with children and grandchildren. Your title is parent or grandparent first and foremost. Lead by example and not by a child's demand. We're doing more damage, short term and long term, than most are willing to admit. Years ago, I was attending a multi-week class at Eastern Kentucky University, and part of the curriculum required us to spend a few days in a local prison. Something that has always stuck out with me was one of the interviews I conducted with a few prisoners, and one of the prisoners who said to me when I asked if you could do this over, or what could have happened prior to your crime that would have changed your direction. The individual stated, if an adult had only told me no as a child, I likely would not be in this prison today. The other prisoners at the table agreed. You see, we have young men in the basement playing Xbox and pretending to be wannabe warriors, while our enemies who hate us are ruthless and barbaric in many cases. The most current threat of terror cells inside our borders, they're ruthless. It won't be a challenge on the Xbox game. They mutilate with swords and knives. They remove babies from living mother's stomach before killing both. Even after killing their victim, they then proceed to cut off heads, arms, and legs. This isn't a movie or some news clip from abroad. I'm not trying to scare you or create fear in you. Go live your life. but do so focused and observant to what is happening around you. You are responsible for your choices, actions, understanding, skills, ability to know when to go or not go forward. Personally, I have no faith in the existing government to protect the homeland, even if they want to do so. I'm not convinced they do at this point. The greatest asset we have in America are our people. Agree? They are not all good or agreeable to one another, but our future in the short term or possibly the long term may depend on how well we come through the coming days, weeks, months, and maybe even years. This comes down again to how well you are prepared. Are you prepared? You may be a person of faith and I applaud you, but are you prepared to survive until that time comes for you to leave this earth? Only you can answer the question. So you see, if we simply go by everything we see on the internet, on home screens, and what we are being told, we're basically only seeing the icing on the cake, but we are not understanding what the cake is made of. What are the ingredients, and what does the ingredients make up? There's a lot of depth and history over hundreds of years that contributes to the recipe of this cake, okay? And just like walking through a cake store, bakery, Walmart, wherever you may go to buy a cake, all you're seeing is the surface icing and the decorations, okay? You don't know if that cake is moist, you don't know if it's dry, you don't know if it's old, if it's molded, if it's stale. You don't know these things. And only when you stop and take time to do your own research and homework to understand what is driving the ideology that is creating hatred that has been there for hundreds of years. It didn't just happen, okay? Now, in the current battle between Israel and the Middle East, a lot of this has surfaced in the last 50 to 60 years, okay? But the overall hatred towards Christianity and the infidels and the Jewish people has been long-lived, okay? It's your choice if you want to spend time going and trying to understand how all these pieces work together, okay? In my last video, I shared with you how the black flag has been posted and how the Islamic State, whether it's Hezbollah, Hamas, the Sunnis, the Shias, the Wahhabis, how they operate in their homeland in the Middle East is one thing, but they have now agreed they're united against the infidels. So this is a global thing. It's not just in the Middle East. So we all have to be smarter in the things that we do, places we go, especially as the holidays are approaching. Again, don't stop your life. Don't live in fear. Just be smarter, okay? Make better choices. If you haven't, you've got to develop a mindset to be a hard target, okay? Don't be like folks I used to witness over throughout the Europe area. You would see tourists walking down the street in a Middle Eastern country or an African country that was predominantly Muslim. They would be walking down the street with t-shirts or sweatshirts on with American flags on them, or they would dress like an American with the big belt buckle and the cowboy boots and the cowboy hat, or they would be carrying a backpack that had a sticker about the United States and so forth. Or even in conversations, tourists would go into countries with the attitude, I'm from Big Bad America and you need to serve me. Okay? It doesn't work that way. No matter how proud we are of our country, it just doesn't work that way. And when we go into foreign countries, whether it is a Muslim country, a Jewish country, a Christian country, whatever it may be, we have to learn to have respect for others and their culture, just as we want them to respect their culture when they come here. All right. So anyway, have a blessed day. Keep preparing. Don't live in fear. Just be smarter and have confidence going forward. All right. So again, thanks for tuning in. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so to help us grow. The growth in the last month has been great, and I appreciate it. And if you have any questions, you can email me at preparedness101@protonmail.com, or you can go visit our website at hopeforsurvival.com. I've been putting lots of checklists in weekly newsletters, and if you don't have our 32-page Hope for Survival preparedness checklist, you can email me and ask for it, and I will send it to you. Okay? So until next time, be blessed and take care. Bravo Echo. Thank you for checking out the Hope for Survival YouTube channel. If you are new to Hope for Survival, you can check out our books at our webpage. Book 1, which is Hope for Survival, Getting You Prepared for Disasters, and Book 2, Hope for Survival, The Mindset, are both available for order on the website. We also offer the Hope for Survival football stick, which is a memory stick set up as a digital filing cabinet with files already loaded on there for you to digitally copy items such as deeds, auto transcript for ownership, wills, living wills, loans, banking information, items that if your home burned down or you had some form of a disaster, you could have all your important papers already digitally filed on this stick. All you do is simply drag the digital file into the appropriate preset folder so that you'll have it in the event of a disaster. You have to flee your home in a hurry, or also if you're away from home and you need critical information that's personal, if you have your memory stick with you, you can put it in your computer and pull that information up wherever you may be. Again, you can find these items to order at our website, https://www.hopeforsurvival.com, or you can email me at preparedness101@protonmail.com, and I will try to help you out. Again, thanks for checking out the Hope for Survival YouTube channel. Hope to see you again.